Everything is Tuberculosis by John Green. John Green is the award-winning #1 best-selling author of books including Looking for Alaska, The Fault in Our Stars, Turtles All the Way Down, and The Anthropocene Reviewed. With his brother Hank, John has co-created many online video projects including Vlogbrothers and the educational channel Crash Course. John serves on the board of trustees for the global health nonprofit Partners in Health and spoke at the United Nations high-level meeting on the fight to end tuberculosis. John lives with his family in Indianapolis. Everything is Tuberculosis was published in 2025. One of the hot books of the year, right? So excited to get a new John Green, and really happy for John Green that he's just publishing whatever the hell he wants.
I know, that's awesome.
Because obviously he carved an actually wildly deep and successful YA career. And then he just moved the hell on.
Yeah,
and I think that's so sick. I love the art of the pivot. I love it when people are like, I'm done with that era. I'm moving on. Maybe I'll come back. Maybe I won't. I don't know. And so then obviously he wrote The Anthropocene Reviewed. An incredible book.
Yeah.
So good. And then he was like, I'm going to keep doing this nonfiction thing, but I'm going to tunnel really deep out of the personal essay, because those are very much, in many ways, personal essays where he's diving into what his opinions on certain things. You get a history lesson, but he also links it back to himself in a lot of ways, right?
Yeah.
This book has nothing to do with John Green in that, like, it really is about tuberculosis. It's a history, a social look at, an exploration of the current state of this insanely infectious disease, tuberculosis. Harrowing, depressing, dark, of course, because we're talking about 1 million people dying every year of a disease that is curable. A disease that in North America and in other rich parts of the world, very few people die of because we have access to the medicine that can fix it very easily. However, in parts of the world where there isn't that access, where there aren't the funds to purchase these medicines, where the infrastructure to get the medicine to the patient, all of these things are not as robust because of these injustices of like who was born rich and who wasn't. Millions of people dying. And it's like not even just like a couple thousand. Not that that would be okay, but you know what I mean? Like it's not like thousands of people. No, it's millions of people that are dying. And basically this book happened because John Green was working on a different global health project. He was in Sierra Leone building a maternity center for health because Sierra Leone had one of the, I don't know if it still has, but at the time it had one of the highest like women dying in childbirth rates in the world. And he worked with Partners in Health to build a center so that women there would have better access to care. While he was there, he met a boy named Henry, who, it's funny because that's his son's name.
Yeah.
John has a son named Henry, and then he met this other boy named Henry. So he's even at the beginning of the book, he's like, I get like the metaphorical resonance is almost too much, right? Like it's like a little heavy-handed almost. But he met this boy named Henry, and he thought Henry worked at the hospital as some kind of like a helper or assistant or something, because he's like a teen who's running around really jolly, knows everyone. And then he finds out, no, Henry's there because he's dying of tuberculosis. And he's like, tuberculosis? I thought we'd fix that. Yeah. Right? And of course, a lot of us have thought that because we kind of have fixed that. In Canada, we fixed that, right? To a large extent. There are some communities in Canada, especially in the north. That was one of the fun facts that I learned. Inuit populations in the north of Canada struggle with tuberculosis. It's a global health problem. The facets, the wild tangents you can go on with this book, it's really a fascinating conversation starter. I could easily like now, and I did. That was one of the most fun things I had with this book. As you know, I listened to the audiobook with my partner, Connor, and we would like listen to an hour of it or half an hour of it in the car. And then we would spend another half an hour talking about the implications, about the new things we'd learned, about our assumptions, about the things that we had thought. And, well, I didn't expect that to be the thing. Or, wow, that's so much higher than I thought, or lower than I thought, or whatever. Yeah, that's cool. Really, really a fascinating social history. But yeah, so basically he met this boy and was like, I thought we had fixed tuberculosis. Like, what is this? And then he started to go down this rabbit hole and realized, wow, this is one of the greatest injustices that's going on right now in global health. I want to learn more about it. And then the more he learned about it, the more he was like, I want to advocate for this. And so this book is such a great primer. And I really think that that's what it's supposed to be. I think it's supposed to be basically a pop sci book. It's not that long.
Yeah, it's really
It's
short.
198 pages. It doesn't even reach the 200. And that includes the further reading and like acknowledgments. You know what I mean? Like acknowledgments and everything. 198 pages. It's a short read. The audiobook's only like 5 hours or something. And so you can quickly listen to it, quickly read it, and learn really everything you need to know to at least understand what's going on.
Yeah.
And then it's up to you to then go and learn even more. And I think that's an important like thing that he has to navigate, because obviously John Green is not a doctor. He's not like a scientist. He doesn't have a degree in the kind of medical science that would help him fix tuberculosis, like that kind of thing. But he's an advocate, and he's now definitely one of the leading experts in tuberculosis. Like he clearly knows everything about it, which is really fascinating.
Yeah.
You know what I love, Raylene? And I think you know this about me. I love a rabbit hole. I really respect a rabbit hole. And this is like the deepest commitment to a rabbit hole I've ever seen in my entire life.
Oh, wow.
Where he was like, actually, that matters more than anything else. And I know that it doesn't have anything to do with my YA book career, but it doesn't matter. I'm going down that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
And like the art of the pivot, the art of the rabbit hole, all nailed here. John Green is just an incredible writer. So it kind of doesn't matter what he's writing about. It's great.
Oh, 100%.
Right? So if you have read his books before and you're like, I don't know if I want to read that one, you'll like it as much as the other ones. If you haven't read any John Green and you're like, I don't know what that is, you should still give it a shot. I think the lessons also of this book, he does a great job of elevating some themes where it's not just about tuberculosis. I mean, it is, but about tuberculosis.
Everything is
just about, everything is literally tuberculosis. But it's also about kind of like how we treat people and why injustices like this can happen. There's a really great section on history that's a lot of fun. George Orwell gets a mention, which is pretty exciting stuff.
Wow.
Pretty sad stuff, actually.
Oh.
I don't know if people know that George Orwell died of tuberculosis.
Right.
I knew that because the second I became obsessed with him, I went on a rabbit hole and I was like, how did he die? Why?
Oh, man.
What I didn't know, it's not in this book, but it's in, actually, it was in one of my pamphlets from when I went to Wellington.
Oh, wow.
In one of the pamphlets there, it explains that he went to a sanatorium to deal with his tuberculosis. At the time, there was no cure for tuberculosis, and it was coming. It was right around the corner, but he didn't live long enough to get that treatment. The whole thing, and this was a fascinating thing in Everything is Tuberculosis as well, like learning about how we have treated tuberculosis in the past and how that like didn't do anything, but we were trying our best, but we weren't, like, et cetera, et cetera. How basically in a sanatorium, they just asked you to lie still and you weren't allowed to do anything. Like you weren't allowed to get up from bed. Some people would even be strapped down because they're just like, you need to just lie still. Which again, that's sounds like a prison. And what I found out was that in one of the pamphlets was that George Orwell wasn't allowed to type. Because they said that typing on his typewriter was too taxing and it would like make his tuberculosis worse. Which like maybe, but like it wasn't really making him much better to just lie still.
Yeah.
And I'm like, those 6 months, what could he have written?
Could have written something else. Wow, yeah.
Oh, that's stressful. Okay. I suppose I should wrap my thoughts up. I loved this book. I thought it was really fantastic. I thought it was very depressing. It was very difficult to read because we're all implicit. And I finished this literally last night. So I woke up this morning, set up for the podcast, and I'm here talking about it now. And I'm so excited to spend the next few days figuring out what is Ariel going to do about tuberculosis. Ooh. Because I really do think that that's the point of a book like this. Like, if you read a book like this and you are genuinely moved, if you genuinely agree, like, yes, I agree, tuberculosis is a problem, It's an injustice problem largely, where rich people and this is the problem, where we don't think of ourselves as rich people because it's all perspective. It's all perspective. Like in Canada, you and me aren't rich people. Yeah. We're not like living in mansions. But when you compare ourselves to the rest of the globe, we are obscenely wealthy people compared to the world average. So when you it's all about perspective, and it's all about being like, what could I do? What can old Ariel do to affect this issue if I actually agree? It's like put your money where your mouth is. It's like put your like, if you actually value something, if you're saying that you agree with it, it's cheap to read it and then not ever do anything about it. Where you're like, agreed, that sucks, and then you just move on. It's like, oh no. that's how it keeps going.
That's how it happens. Yeah.
That's how it's happening. So I'm excited to spend the next few days figuring out what my strategy is going to be. If there's something that I think that would make sense for me to do, probably some kind of a ongoing donation of some sort. Because again, this links back to half-assed human with Lena. I think the problem is often people think you have to like do so much research, really pick your charity perfectly, and then donate a lot of money. And if you don't do all of these things perfectly, it's not even worth doing.
Right.
Nope. If you were to donate $10 a month, if we were all doing that, wow, what a huge difference that would make, right?
Yeah.
So it's about just finding what's comfortable for you. What a great book. And what a great audiobook too. John Green, right?
Of course. Yeah.
John Green.